Going on, everybody? It is Dylan here with a brand new video, and I'm so excited to make this video. This is the first DFS game of the season. So excited for this 2022 season. Thursday Night Showdown is going to be a great game, in my opinion. We have Buffalo at LA, and man, it's one way to kick it off, and DraftKings is having fun with it as well. A lot of expensive players here, and some fun values too. And let's start it off. Let's just get the Buffalo side out of the way. So there's one player, just as your flex, that's over 10K. And that's Josh Allen. You have Stephon Diggs right below him, and then it starts to get a little more of a price differential there. You get Gabe Davis, Devin Singletary, Dawson Knox. Jamison Crowder here at 5K, I think is going to be interesting. The Bills defense, obviously, adding Von Miller. You get Zach Moss, James Cook down here at 2,800. Isaiah McKenzie is definitely going to be another one to watch out for. And other than that, I mean, everything else is just a toss-up. O.J. Howard signs with them. But other than that, there's not a lot that I love there. And then we'll go to the Rams side, and then we'll just kind of break down everything and the way to attack it. Two players above 10K on the Rams, Stafford, Kupp, Akers right below them, and then is when you start to get another price difference. So there's a 2K difference of the top four players on the Rams, so that's definitely intriguing there. Higbee down there with 56, Darrell Henderson at 48, Van Jefferson at 46, Rams defense at 36, so much cheaper than the Bills, but for obvious reasons. And then as you get down here, Skronek is probably the only other person, maybe Kyrell Williams to watch out for as well. But that's pretty much it for the Rams side. And now let's break it down. So the captain is the most important. That's where you plan to make a lot of your points, but you also have to budget as well. So if you look on the flex on both teams, you have 3 players above 10K, and you have another 2 above 8. That's a lot of spending on that top talent. So you got $50,000 to spend on 6 positions. So if you're spending, if you do buy Cooper Kupp, Josh Allen, and Stafford, any 2 of the 3, if not 3, you're spending half, if not more, on those 3 players, so you have to kind of balance it out. So to put that into perspective of all 3, and all 3 are great plays in my opinion, the 3 highest projected players, let's throw Diggs in there as well. This is what you have left. If you're trying to make a roster and you slam the top 4 guys, and now you're like, now what? So now you have to go down here and you have to find somebody. So let's say Kyren Williams, Rams rookie running back. We have 4,400, and what do we have around here? James Cook, Isaiah McKenzie, some good guys, but you're losing out on potential guys. In my opinion, you're losing out on the Gabe Davis, you're losing out on the Dawson Knox, you're losing out especially on Allen Robinson. So you have to be careful of kind of what you want to go for and take your wins and losses in certain places. So in my opinion, the way that I'm looking at this game, Stafford's banged up. I don't take that into a factor. I think Stafford's going to be A-okay for that game Thursday. But what I do want to look at is Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson, the 2 wide receivers for the Rams that are going to get the highest points. Cooper Kupp, obviously a freak athlete, going to have a very good matchup against Buffalo. And the same thing for Allen Robinson with Tre'Davious White being out. That's huge for Rams receivers. So I like to have somebody like Allen Robinson in my lineup. And now with the quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, I'm leaning towards Josh Allen. Which quarterback is going to produce more? And in my opinion, it's going to be Josh Allen. And that's just because he has that run upside. The Rams, it's crazy how good these offenses are, and then you think about their defenses. So that backfield, the safeties for the Bills of Hyde, and Poyer, very good. Tre'Davious White would have been there, but he's hurt, so that is an advantage on the DB side. But you have Von Miller still rushing. On the Rams side, you have Ramsey, you have Wagner, you have Donald. It is going to be crazy. Both offensive lines lose people too. It's going to be a very good game. I think it's still going to be a high-scoring game. These 2 teams are just very good teams. I know their defenses are what they are, but when you see two teams like this with high-powered offenses, if one rolls, the other one usually follows behind. That's just how it goes. it's usually two very defensive teams with mediocre or average offenses that you see kind of a lower scoring game, but I believe the total is at 52 and a half, I believe, and it's crazy. So for me, to get back to it, I look at someone like, and this is a game where, like I said, it's going to be a high scoring game. Someone like James Cook, 2,800, going to be the receiving back. They clearly want to use him. I'm not saying that I'm going to necessarily put him in my captain because he's not going to get all those points that you would like, but just to put in their perspective, putting him there gets you 4,600. So we like Josh Allen a lot. We're going to get him. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is that number one receiver, and he's probably not going to see a lot of Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey's all over the place, so if I were the Rams, I would put Ramsey on Diggs, and they very well might, but you got to remember Gabe Davis exposed the Chiefs secondary for not considering him to just worry about. So Stephon Diggs at 9K, I really like that as well. And now we start to get to the Rams. So we have 3 Bills guys, just for an example. Now we need to get the Rams. So with Stafford, you look at some of Stafford's games last year, and 20 to 30 points, very good, and a guy that you have to get. But for that price, and it's the same thing for Cooper Kupp. We have 24. If we were to get both of these guys, we have 2,000 remaining for our last player. So now what if I throw Allen Robinson in there, which, it again, is someone I like a lot. We now have 9,300. It's a lot more manageable. So let's say we throw Matt Stafford in there. We have 7,800, and we can get Gabe Davis. We could get Devin Singletary, which I don't recommend, Dawson Knox, Tyler Higbee. There's a lot of options. Now, we are fading one of the best receivers in the league in Cooper Kupp, and we saw how game-changing he was. So now let's say I want sorry about that. Let's say that I want Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. We have 6,200, and we're fading Matt Stafford, which is he's one of the projected higher fantasy point guys. Yet again, you see his numbers, and he's a guy that consistently gets over 20 fantasy points. But you are also getting that PPR bonus in Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson as well. So that is a difference there, and that's something that you have to consider. And then you have a little more money to play around with. You still have the Higbee, you still have the Jamison Crowder, the Van Jefferson, the defenses if you're into that, Isaiah McKenzie, Skronek. There's options to look for. Basically, what you will need to look at is the Van Jefferson health and the Isaiah McKenzie health. So if Isaiah McKenzie's in, he's on the depth chart higher than Jamison Crowder. If Isaiah McKenzie is playing, you get a receiver at 2,400, which is a great discount there. Versus Jamison Crowder, who's all the way up here at 5K. And for Van Jefferson, he's up to 4,600. If he doesn't play, Skronek's in there, and we saw some of what the Rams tried to do with Skronek last year when they started losing guys. We can even look in the game log and see it's nothing special. But if you look at some of the targets, 5-2, 5-5, he got targets. And it's not saying he's anything special by any means. I'm not saying that, but he's $1,800. So if you plug Skronek in there, you have $4,400 more that we can spend and play around with and move some of these guys and maybe upgrade James Cook to somebody else. And that's just an example. So definitely what I recommend to you guys is checking to see the status of Van Jefferson, McKenzie. Those are going to be guys to look out for. Stafford, I have no problem of putting him in lineups because I don't think he's going to be affected by this arm thing. I think it's more of a just a concern of him having some type of discomfort, but I don't think it's anything that's going to affect his game. So if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. If you guys are interested in joining us here at Astrodfs, the link for our Discord will be in the description down below, so definitely check that out. We have the showdowns, we have the main slates for both DraftKings and FanDuel, and we are having free bets if you do subscribe. So if you guys are interested in any of that at all, click the link in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.